The top members of the President Bola Tinubu cabinet today met in Abuja to brainstorm on the planned protest. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, and the National Security Advisor, Mr. Nuhuru Badu, met with ministers of a planned nationwide protest against economic hardship by Nigerian youth. The meeting was convened behind closed doors and has all the over 40 ministers in the president's cabinet in attendance. Well, it was the Minister of Information who spoke similar to what he has been saying about some Nigerians who plan to protest and them shelving that planned protest. Well, let's get some insight on what this means altogether. The worry in the APC camp and in the government over this. I'm being joined tonight by the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Senator Ajibola Basiru. He's live with us here in our Abuja. So thanks so much, Senator, for joining us.
Yeah, good evening, Sean.
Thank you so much indeed. Let's begin. It's a tough period for Nigerians. You agree, isn't it?
It's a tough period for every citizen of the world, not only Nigeria. And I know you know that.
Can you contextualize that?
I can contextualize. As I speak today, when you go and check the cost of living crisis, it will be definitely not only Nigeria, not only Africa, but even advanced capitalist economies. And what are the causes for this? You will know that the production globally has not even resumed back to the level it was before COVID-19. What happened with COVID-19 pandemic was practically a shutdown of global economy for a period of 2 years. And shortly after that, you have the Ukrainian war, which, of course, affected grain supply and some other essential supply, not only to Europe, but to other parts of the world. Then follow on the back of that was also the crisis in the Middle East. So when you look at what is happening in the world, it's not localized in Nigeria, it's not localized in Africa, but it's a global change that all of us as statesmen, as politicians, we must confront with patriotism and with a clear sense of direction as to the fact that it is necessary for us to galvanize our economy, ensure that production and infrastructure goes to the level to be able to let us deliver on the welfare and security of our people.
As much as, one would like to reason, because we need to put a sense of reason into all of this matter and look at the perspective, because it is not an issue of villain versus the hero in this matter. There's no one that is looking out to vilify the government or the ruling APC. I think we are looking for a solution. Global economic indicators or situation might be, on one hand, a contributor to what we are experiencing locally. But let's deal with the local economy and some of the decisions of this government. It might be highly incorrect for you to blame global economic situation on the economic situation of Nigeria. Don't you agree?
Can you, in the globalized economy, insulate what happened in any country or any corner of the world from what happened globally? We are now in a globalized economy, but that is not to say that we will not also localize what we are doing within the context of our economy to advance the economic and well-being of our people. We are not saying that we are resting on our ass, and we are saying that we are helpless in tackling these economic challenges. So the question I expected you to ask is, what is our government, the government of APC led by Senator Bola Tinubu, doing in terms of being able to address the challenges of the economy? And if you ask me that question, I would say that since assumption of office,
Since I've not asked you that question, just pause a moment. I'm the one that's moderating. So if you allow me to ask a question, like I said, it might not be a comfortable one, but we are looking for a solution. You are the National Secretary of your party. You understand the ideology of your party. You understand what your party promised. You are one of those who convinced Nigerians that the APC is a better alternative for Nigerians. But if you're going into the local indices, and we can go there, and one we wonder that the Yorubas will say, if you cannot make me better, leave me where you left me. The question is, how are the indicators before your government of the APC came into force about a year ago? What are the indicators? What were they saying? The GDP figures, the inflation figures, the food inflation, unemployment rate. The differences between 1 year ago and now. How would you explain to Nigerians who are watching tonight that the differences that we have seen in almost double in the numbers of those indicators are defendable by your government or your party?
You see, I'm a student of logic, and of course, I will not want to engage in what is called fallacy of hasty generalization. I would rather want us to take specifics. You can't just say all indices are doubled. I'm not oblivious of commentators that just come here and throw up figures that is not based on statistics. Let us start with the GDP. I know a commentator, a defeated presidential candidate, is throwing figures based on the 2014, rebasing of the GDP.
Who is the person?
I won't mention his name. If you don't know, he's one of the people that lost the election and went to tribunal. I don't, but I know that he's been banditing some funny figures around the GDP of the country. The last time our GDP was rebased was in 2014. We are in 2024. And of course, naturally, the basis of GDP should be done on the basis of five-year period. Now we're in 10 years. I'm aware that NBS is currently working on analyzing and rebasing our GDP. And when the figures come out, then you cannot be talking of a correct figure that you can be talking about. You cannot be banditing figures that was based on 2014 circumstances and then use it as a parameter to do so. Then when you talk of inflation, on a month-by-month basis, is what you judge inflation. You cannot just say inflation is going. And I know that in the past 4 months, inflation trend in Nigeria slowed down by the data available from the National Bureau of Statistics. So when you cannot just talk parameters being done, then question is this, that you must also know that the government of APC, the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a reformist government. We are addressing some fundamental dysfunctionality in the Nigerian economy. One, we are addressing the problem with a subsidized foreign exchange system that has made Nigeria not to be competitive in the global economy. We are addressing the total heist and dysfunctionality that subsidy regime has brought to the energy sector in our country. We are also tackling the age-long challenges of infrastructure deficiency that the president and our government is investing seriously in infrastructure to be able to galvanize and be able to deal with economy. And in terms of our promises, in the area of agriculture, we know that food security is very key to be able to address economic challenges that we are facing in the country. As I speak today, I can speak to certain figures of what our government have done in that very vital sector of our economy. As at today, not less than 118,857 hectares of wheat in 15 states have been cultivated. And this, we are also given support in this regard, had led to no less than 107,429 farmers who are engaged in the area of wheat. Of course, 209 billion in the agriculture sector alone have been injected into the economy. And of course, the question of even the livestock management is being addressed by the implementation of the livestock development policy. In the area of infrastructure, you are aware that the government is tackling headlong not only infrastructure challenges we have in the capital, but all over the country. In the health sector, the primary health system, active collaboration to be able to address the health challenges of the people is being done by this government. And of course, in the education, the student education loan scheme promise, of course, has been put in place and also is being activated. So we rather speak to specifics as to what the present administration is doing to be able to tackle some of the challenges inherited and some of the challenges that naturally every society will face from time to time. Education is key. We are not resting on our oars in being able to address that. Health sector is very key. Agriculture and food production, with a view to having food security, is being addressed holistically by administration. Of course, you cannot have an economy that you don't address this functionality that will be able to aid the macroeconomic stability of the country. And these are part of the deliverables that the present administration is working upon. So it's not just about coming up and say, painting a gloomy picture. Yes, I'm very aware that when you have a reformist administration, there will be challenges, and of course there are challenges. But that is not because efforts are not being made to address those challenges, and then at the end of the day, if those challenges are not presently tackled now, then of course we are preparing for doomsday, and that will never come under the watch of our party and the watch of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Facts are sacred, isn't it?
Yes.
You agree? And let's stick to the fact. Let's say on inflation and food inflation. Those are two issues, because if I take you to any other of those, we don't have the time to be able to espouse on those issues. Let me take you to Bola Tinubu assuming office in May 29, 2023. You know what the figure is. You remember?
I don't. That's the figure. You are national television.
Yes, inflation is about 22% or 23% before the president got into office. Inflation, as of now, it grew to about 33.95%.
Yes.
So how do you explain that?
I expect you to also tell us at what point did inflation get to 33.4% and what has been the flow of inflation in the past, 4 or 5 months. You can't just pick up a figure and just throw it a question
because you have said that we should stay on the facts and the figures. Course. And that's what we're saying.
And of course,
I'm asking you a straight jacket question, yes. Senator. The inflation rate was just a little above 20%, and now is over 33%.
I don't agree with that statistics.
So what is your own statistics?
I don't know, but I don't know.
But if you don't know, why are you disagreeing? I'm telling you facts on your national television.
What is your source of inflation? You can't just prove.
It is the NBS. NBS, whose salaries are being paid by the government.
Of course. NBS did not give it.
So you do not agree also that the inflation rate has risen dramatically from a year ago up until now?
I didn't agree. I know there are inflation challenges, but it's not up to that level.
Up until 33%?
Yes.
What is the present inflation rate, Senator, if you don't agree?
I don't agree.
You were a lawyer, and I imagine that since you have given the parameters upon which we need to have this conversation, and I'm giving to you. So if you look at it, the Nigerian inflation figure, look at it, March 2024, 33%. May 2023, 22.41%, Senator. Look at food inflation. Food inflation in March 2024, 40.01%. May 2023, 24%. Those are the figures right there. NBS figures.
I don't agree with you.
So what do you agree with?
I also know.
That is the figure.
I only know for now that yes, there are inflationary challenges, and that as a government we are tackling those inflationary challenges.
So if you do not agree with these figures, which are released officially by
you said so. You said so that they are released officially.
These are the figures, official figures, Senator.
I don't have access to your source.
So, but do you have access to the price of yam, rice, tomatoes in the market? Do you have access to those?
Per ton or per tubers?
But whatever. I mean, per Congo, like your people in Osun State will call it.
Yes.
Do you have access to it? Is it more expensive than
a year ago? Of course, expensive. I'm not doubting.
So why are you trying to hide under one finger?
I'm not hiding.
And it's unfair to Nigerians when you are disagreeing with figures that are officially quoted by the NBC.
I don't agree with you. I've not seen it on NBC. I'm just telling you.
So you don't read the papers, or what exactly is the problem?
I can say I don't read papers.
So why don't you agree?
I don't agree. Figures? If you read the please. What I'm telling you is that your figure, I don't agree with it.
It's not my figure, but it's the official figure, and I'm telling you.
It's your figure. You put it here, I don't... You have
Senator, this is going to offend the sensibilities of an average Nigerian. When you,
I cannot admit to what I do.
The government of the day are the ones producing this figure, Senator.
I say
not channel television.
I said I'm agreeable. Get my point. I'm agreeable that are inflationary challenges, but I don't agree with that figure that you have quoted.
Do you imagine that there seems to be some kind of failure in the manner of handling of the economy by this government?
I don't agree. And that's why I'm telling you that.
But why are things worsening, Senator?
Things are challenging. I must tell you that. Things are challenging. It's different from things are getting worse. And I told you when I was talking, we know there are challenges in the area of food security. And I've told you that one of the cardinal things that this administration is doing is to address the challenges in food security. We are putting a lot of effort in releasing food, even from reserves, into the market. That shows that we know there is a challenge. But that's different from pigeon-only me to a figure that I did not see before I come here. I cannot, on national television, admit to what I did not see. It's just say so.
So, agree that our effort. Anyone can jump on the treadmill in the corner of their room and run 35 kilometers, but they've not left the same spot. Effort does not mean result. We are seeing effort, but the figures are saying something totally different. I'm asking you, are you imagining, just a moment, Senator, that there seems to be some kind of failure in the handling of the economy, Senator?
I don't agree. It's not true.
You don't think that the nation is rating and judging your government, that it has failed in that regard?
The country is not failing, and what you are saying...
I'm saying the economy, I'm saying the economy is failing.
The economy is challenged.
All the indicators are in the red, Senator.
The economy is challenged, does not mean that the economy is failing. And that's the truth about it. And I'm telling you that we are a reform government. I told you effort we are taking in trying to undo the problem we have in the area of economy, in terms of macroeconomic challenges that we have, in tackling the dysfunctionality, tackling the problem of food security, tackling the challenge we have in education.
Is the government willing to take a new direction?
Please, can you tell us what are the new directions?
If you throw, I mean, you campaign for it.
No, that's why I'm telling you what we are doing. You are talking about new direction. Tell us what you are doing that is wrong.
You should tell Nigerians. I mean, because
I've told you what you are doing. And if you can read what we are doing.
You said it. That this what you are doing doesn't mean that it's working.
It is going to work, and it's working.
How much more can Nigerians wait?
It's easier for you to sit down and play a doomsday scenario for the people. It's easier for you to make criticism, but it is not as easier for you to take the bull by the horn and say this is the pathway to the progress that we have known. What we are doing is to say, yes, we have challenges. I'm not saying we don't have challenges. We have challenges in the area of employment. We have challenges in the area of food security. We have challenges in the area of security. But it is not without effort. We are making effort. And even the figures, I mean, you are giving, assuming without considering that is even true, it's not static. Some of the effort
just assuming that it is true.
Assuming without considering.
Let me ask Nigerians, whatever, what is your Twitter handle? I'll let them to give you, if you don't agree with the NBS figure, wherever you may be in any part of Nigeria, tweet at me and Senator Ajibola Basiru the price of commodities, the price of food in your area. Maybe Senator will be aware.
I'm not saying you are getting the point wrong. I'm not saying
offensive to
it's offensive to me. What you are also saying is very offensive of twisting what I'm saying. It's very offensive. What I'm telling you is that what you have said in terms of statistics is different from. I'm not saying food prices are not high. And I told you that we are making intervention to address food security. If you don't have problem,
are those working? Are those efforts?
They are working. They are working.
Why are the figures saying something totally different? We are in an age of data, Senator.
Yes, I'm telling you, they are working. So what they are saying is that government pack up, do nothing to address problem of food security. No, we're in planting season now. We are in planting season now. We are planting season now. You see, if you say our effort is not done, it's not just to say our effort has not done. I've told you what we have done. We have talked of agricultural inputs. We have talked of cultivation of wheat. We have talked of insemination of livestock. We have talked of livestock development, program. We have talked of giving farm input, to people. We have talked of irrigation farming.
So you're asking Nigerians to wait more.
Of course, if you start all
you need to beg them. You need to plead with Nigerians.
Of course, I've said that's what I started in my opening remark. That we know there's a challenge. But that does not mean you would throw any figure at me.
I'm not throwing any figure.
What I'm telling you is that we know there are challenges. We know there are challenges in the area of food security. We know there are challenges in the area of employment, and the government is doing as much as possible trying to address that. And of course, our solutions cannot just be magical. It will be a process. If you start working on addressing food security, it's on a single day that you plant and those things will grow.
So, you need to plead to the sensibilities of Nigeria because you're a leader of the APC. If your party is doing something and it doesn't look like Nigerians are feeling the effect of it yet, because those who are going on the streets to protest, the government is saying don't protest, but they say they are hungry. They say there's bad governance.
Please, on that protest, it is not about bad governance. Because when you talk about bad governance, there are so many parameters that you look into it. Then I don't know whether you have seen the charter of demands of the so-called people that want to protest. The bulk of their demands are political demands, they are not economic demands.
How do you,
I have it, I can give it to you.
No, speak to it.
I have it, yeah, this
which of these you don't
this one, I saw this one, and I begin to read it out. What are the economic demands that are there? What are the economic demands? This is what they see, that's why I take.
So you think that the intentions are not right?
They are not, they start reading it out. They say we should scrap the 1999 constitution and replaced with a people-made constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria through sovereign national conference, immediately followed by a national referendum. Is that an economic demand? I'm just asking. Then that you should toss the Senate arm of the Nigerian legislative system away, keep the House of Rep, and make lawmaking part-time endeavor. Is that an economic demand? Then the one about minimum wage. Just last week, the president addressed the question of minimum wage by coming up with 70,000 minimum wage that even the labor leaders applauded. Then they said Nigeria, the country should invest in education. We are doing that already. The student loan framework had come. They released Masin Nnamdi Kanu. Is that an economic demand? Diaspora voting. Is that an economic demand? Sacking of judges. Is that an economic demand? So you look at what they have brought out as their own charter of demand and separate it from the legitimate aspirations and yearnings of Nigerians for better living conditions that our government is addressing.
Are you worried that your party seems to be unpopular?
Our party is not unpopular.
No, I'm asking, just a moment.
On your program, you saw that people are even coming to our party.
Senator, if I may land on the question. Do you imagine for a moment that your party is rather looking unpopular if agitations like this, and your government of the APC is just about a year into his office, and they are already questioning the capacity of the government to deliver on the yearnings of the people?
And I'm telling you, if it's about the protest, this is their charter of demands. This has nothing to do with governance. It's not to do with...
So where do we go from here?
It doesn't have to do with legitimate...
The promises of your party...
I'm telling you that...
And the way forward for Nigeria.
So let us separate two things.
So you're saying that they should not go to the streets?
Our demands, our government, we promise economic development. We promise security. We promise an inclusive government. We promise improvements in the health sector. We promise in the area of education. And I'm saying that our government, we are doing so much in terms of addressing those things that we promise Nigerian people. So you must separate political agitation, which is politically motivated, but from genuine aspiration of the man on the street, who is concerned about the food on his table, which I said our government is addressing.
Senator.
From those people who have political, acts to grant. And when you look at their charter of demand, which I have it here, they set it around.
But as a lawyer, you know they have rights to protest, isn't it?
Of course, you have right to protest, but then you also protest on basis what's even realizable from protest. How do you scrap the constitution of a country by way of protest? Is that a legitimate way? There's a difference between protest and revolution. A revolution seeks to overthrow an existing legal regime.
Is it what they are asking for?
Of course, when you say 1999 constitution should be scrapped, Section 1 of the constitution says that the Nigeria should be governed by the 1999 constitution.
Just a moment.
That's revolution.
Senator, let's take a pause.